I am doing my personal blog for the 7th of January 2023. I thought today I'd talk about my very first year being in New York and going to the School of American Ballet for the summer program. Since everybody seems to be enjoying my ballet stories, so I'm going to go into ballet stories today. All right, let's start. I remember first going to New York City. It was so exciting to be part of the Ford Foundation dance scholarships at that time. New York City ballet schools were called SAB, the School of American Ballet, and at that time the school did not have housing facilities for the dancers, which they do now, and it was up to us to find our own places to stay before we got there. My first year, I did not know how things worked, and I also did not know that it was essential to schedule things way in advance. That could be a problem because often we did not know if we got the scholarship until around March of that year when the summer program would begin. My first year, I was unable to get the places that other dancers knew about, and by the time I had any clue, the good spots were taken. My first year, I ended up staying at the Empire Hotel at Lincoln Center for the whole summer. Honestly, it was not a bad option. It was very close to the school that was at 70 Lincoln Center Plaza. I was close to restaurants, all the artistic activities at Lincoln Center, and there was much excitement surrounding Lincoln Center at that time. There was always something going on. It was fun to go to the plaza and dance up on the other levels that overlooked the fountain. Often many of us would go up there dancing around in sandals or tennis shoes, or I would go up there and write my letters to my family and friends back home while I would sit down and look at the fountain below. It was exciting to see the big banners announcing the companies and performances that were coming to the State Theater. I believe it is now called the David H. Koch Theater, and the Metropolitan Opera House. This area was at the cross between Columbus Avenue and Broadway in Manhattan. It was close to Central Park, and there was much to do all around. As poor dancers, one of us would buy a ticket to the ballet at the State Theater. On the second floor, there was a balcony, and the one with the ticket would go up to that balcony and throw the ticket down to another dancer. As we would come in for the first time, we would beg the usher to not tear the ticket because it was our souvenir to us being in New York, which back then they would kindly do, which, was a good thing, but one ticket then could get two in, or if you were even really bold, you might get more in. You could just not go to the same usher at the front door because of the tearing of the ticket. Then one would sit in the seat and the other would go all the way to the back at the top of the balcony and crouch down, trying to be invisible until the lights went down. Then we would stand up and watch from the back. On a very limited budget as a student, it was the only way to manage to see such performances. In retrospect, I can see how valuable it was to manage to see how specific dancers portrayed characters and roles, because later on at auditions, they would use those ballets as part of the more advanced ways to test us performance-wise before they made their final decisions. It was amazingly valuable to see someone like Gelsey Kirkland, Patricia McBride, or Kira Nichols dance certain roles. It gave one the ability to understand the subtleties that they would use to accentuate certain movements and styles. Back in my day, photography was not very good, and we had terrible video that was mostly black and white, spotty, snowy, and unclear. It was, after all, 1976 through 1978. Even our small cameras were not very good or clear at that time. I think it is so wonderful that now very good cameras are on all our phones and that video is easy to do so that many things can be captured spontaneously and kept. As I stayed in New York, I was able to secure a place at the Swiss Townhouse at 35 West 67th Street. It was also very close to the theater, just a few more blocks away from Lincoln Center, and those Swiss ladies kept us on a very tight leash. Curfews, specific eating times, specific times you could do laundry. But discipline and rules were natural for any serious dancer at the time, so it really wasn't that hard to us. I quickly learned that Balanchine lived on our block, closer to Central Park, and many principal dancers would often walk down our street to go meet Balanchine for some reason or another. As a young dancer, I remember excited girls screaming as they saw Peter Schofus walk past our building and he waved to us. Little did I know that later on, when I was in the Berlin Ballet, that Peter Schofus would be coming to our company to set La Sylphide. Back in my day, the ballet world was very small. I would continue to have many overlaps with other famous dancers that would happen throughout my life. I saw Bruce Marks and Tony Lander perform in Dallas when I was 5 years old, the Morris Pavon, and then worked for Ballet West. And then I worked for Ballet West, where Bruce Marks was the director, and Tony Lander occasionally taught class and set her favorite ballets. New York City was a wild place to be from 1976 through 1978. On many levels, it was very dangerous. Things are so much safer now than when I was there. But as a young dancer, it was the place to be. It was the center of the dance world in the United States. Everyone coveted opportunities to go to any program with any company that was doing courses over the summer and the school years. I am grateful to those Ford Foundation scholarships at that time because I could have never done it otherwise, as my father really despised my love of ballet and tried at most opportunities to point me in any other direction. However, when something was free, he could not make any obvious argument that would stick. Life is a kaleidoscope of potential doorways of color and light that we can choose to step through and into. Sometimes our fear will stop us. Sometimes our angels push us. And sometimes we have enough courage to leap blindly into a dream that we pray will be strong, that we will be strong enough to hold us. Thanks, everyone.